In this video, what we're going to do is learn how you can create a selection of any layer in Adobe Photoshop. Cool, so we're in Adobe Photoshop, and as you can see, I have three very simple layers. I have a simple shape that I created using the shape tools in Adobe Photoshop. I've also got a text object, which I use the type tool for, the horizontal type tool. And then we've also got a background image, which is just a locked layer at the back. And obviously, when we're trying to create compositions, one of the things that could be very helpful, especially if we're trying to mask things or if we just want to be able to create an outline of any of our layers, is to actually be able to create a selection of our layers. So by that, I mean, if I have a circle shape such as the one right here, I actually want to create a selection of the entire outline of that layer. And there's actually a very, very easy way to do this. So in order to actually create this selection, what we need to do is go to the layers panel on the right hand side of Photoshop. And here we should be able to see a layer for each of the layers in our composition. So we have our text object, our ellipse shape, and then we've also got our background image. So in order to create a selection of our ellipse shape, we could go ahead and actually use a whole load of different selection tools, such as the magic wand tool, if it's just one solid color, which at the moment it is. But there's actually a much easier way if we literally just want the outline of the layer itself. So what we need to do is press Command or Control on our keyboard, Control for Windows, and then actually press on the layer thumbnail itself. So if I find the ellipse shape and then press on the layer thumbnail, just by pressing on that once, we've now automatically got a selection around the entirety of our ellipse. And we can now use other selection tools such as the Marquee Tool in order to actually move that selection around and use it. We could even try to add to our selection, or we could even subtract from our selection. If you want to learn how you can do that, there's a video that I made on that previously. I'll make sure there's a link to that in the description below. But as you can see, that was a simple way in order to actually get the outline of our shape. And the exact same applies for this text object. So if I go to the text object, hold Command or Control on my keyboard, and then press on the layer thumbnail for that, as you can see, I now get a selection of our text object. And the selection that's created is incredibly precise. So for example, if I try to move our selection, I could create a new layer, go to the paint bucket tool, and then just create a new version of my text object like that. Now, lastly, what we might want to be able to do is to actually inverse that selection. So instead of selecting the text object, what we actually want to do is select everything outside of the text object. So in fact, all of the empty space around our layer. So what we do is the exact same process. So we'd press Command or Control on our keyboard, go to the layer thumbnail and actually create the selection. But what we could do thereafter is hold Command, Shift, and then press I. Or for Windows, that's Control, Shift, and then press I. And what that's going to do is actually inverse the current selection. So as you can see, it's now selected everything on the outside of our text object. If you don't like to use shortcuts, what you could have also done is go to Select, and then go to Inverse. So as you can see, I've now inversed it once again, so it's automatically confined to our text object once again. If you're interested, like I said earlier, in how you can actually add to or subtract from your selections in Adobe Photoshop, then do check out the video on the right of the end screen. And otherwise, if you're interested in becoming a member of the channel, which will give you early access and some other extra perks, then do consider checking out the link to join in the description below.